Hello, this is Tyler Beamer, math instructor, Haywood Community College. This is a instructional video for DMA 030 section 13 in regards to interest. Interest is money charged for using other people's money. So anytime you take out a loan or use a credit card, you're essentially charged interest. So when you borrow money, you pay interest. And here are some key vocabulary terms. The amount that you borrow or is loaned, or you can also earn interest if you're investing your money. It's called the principal, and interest is a percentage of that principal that you're earning, which is the interest rate. Interest that's computed on the original principal and computed once is called simple interest. Okay. So let's take a look at simple interest. Simple interest is pretty easy to calculate. You just take the principal, multiply it times the interest rate, times the number of years, which is time. Okay. So to find the total amount of a loan or investment that you're going to get or have to pay, you take the principal and then add it to the interest. Alright, so a company borrows $62,500 for 2 years at a simple interest rate of 12.5%. Okay, so interest is only taken on the principal with simple interest. Okay, so to find the simple interest, we take the principal, $62,500, so that's how much we borrow. Multiply it times the interest rate as a decimal, so I'm going to make 12.5%, 0.125, and then multiply it times the number of years, so times 2. And I get $15,625. So then to find the total amount to pay for the entire loan, I got to take the principal, how much I borrow, plus the interest that I just calculated, and that should give me the total amount that I have to pay, so $78,125. So essentially this banking institution or whoever gave you the money is charging you this much to borrow the money, and so you have to pay this much back to them. So that's how banks make money. That's how banks get rich. However, most people do not use simple interest. They use compound interest. That's normally how it works. And compound interest is essentially interest on the principal and also on interest earned. So it's interest on top of interest, which is the compounding effect. Now, if you're borrowing money, this is not a good thing. You want to try to limit this as much as possible. If you're investing and you're making money, this is great, right? Because obviously you want to make as much interest as possible. So this formula is a little bit more complex. You've got P, which is the principal, R is the rate, N is the number of times that this interest is compounded. So it can be compounded a number of times. If N is 1, it's compounded annually. If N is equal to 2, it's semi-annually or twice a year. If N is equal to 4, interest is taken quarterly, so every 3 months. If N is equal to 12, it's monthly, and that's generally how things work, is interest is taken monthly. And you could keep going here. If N is daily, then it would be 365, because there's 365 days in a year. So those are generally all the values of N that you could have and need to work with. So it should give you that in the problem. R is the interest rate, right? So if you're actually borrowing money, you want to get the lowest interest rate possible. And then T is time, which plays a really big part of this. So if you're borrowing money, then you want to reduce T as much as possible. So you want to get that loan paid off quickly. Obviously, if you're investing money, you want to invest it as long as you possibly can so that you can get that compounding effect. All right. So $1,800 is invested at a 2% interest compounded quarterly. Find the total amount after 3 years. So you're investing your money here. So compound interest will work to your advantage in this particular scenario. But P is the principal. The rate is 2%, so 0.02, divided by N. So it says compounded quarterly, so that means N is 4. And 4 times the number of years, which is 3. Okay. So to work this out, you want to follow the order of operations. So start inside this parentheses, and we want to divide first before we add, following the order of operations. So 0.02 divided by 4 is 0.005, and then we add that to 1, so we get 1.005, and then of course 4 times 3 here is 12. So we divided, then added, okay, and then we did the exponent. So then next you want to complete this exponent part. So you want to do 1.005 to the 12th power. So that's an exponent, so that's not multiplication. So you want to use the caret button on your calculator. And so if I'm using a calculator here, just to show you the calculator keystrokes, okay, I'm doing 0.02 divided by 4, add that to 1, right? Here's my exponent, which is the caret. So I'm taking that answer to the 12th power, and I get this big long decimal. I don't want to round any of that. Let's see if I can do something so you guys can see that better. Excuse me. Excuse me there. Okay. So use your caret button for the exponent. So that gives you this big long decimal. Okay, and so now you want to multiply that times 1,800. So don't round that. So just hit times, and it's going to take the previous answer, and it's going to multiply that by the 1,800. And then we can round that answer to the nearest hundredth since this is money. So the second decimal place. So $1,911.02 is the total amount at the end. So if we want to figure out how much we got in interest, we take our total amount and we subtract that by 1,800. And so we made $111.02 in interest. Pretty good for 3 years of just letting your money sit there. Imagine how much interest you'd have after 30 years, right? So an incentive to save early and save for a long period of time. Okay. So find the total amount that will be paid on a 30-year mortgage of $120,000 at an interest rate of 5% compounded monthly. Okay, so we can once again use our compound interest formula. Here's our principal, 1 plus the rate and this is compounded monthly, so n is 12. So then this is 12 times t, which is 30. Okay, so I'll do this on a graphing calculator just to give you another type of calculator here to see. Try to arrange this so you can see it well. Okay, so do the 0.05 divided by 12, add that to 1. So notice I'm not rounding any of this. So I get 1.00416 repeating. And then 12 times 30 is going to be 360. Okay. So then I want to take that to the 360th power. So notice I just hit answer, or I just hit the exponential button, the caret, and that used the previous answer. So to the 360th power, so I get 4.467744314, and I don't want to round any of that. And then I'll multiply that times 120,000. And you get $536,129.32, which is kind of sickening. All right, how much interest did we have to pay this bank? Subtract that number and 120,000. And we get $416,129.32 in interest. That's a lot, right? That's a lot more than we paid for the house here. So if you have a mortgage, you probably know what I'm talking about here and how much interest you have to pay. Some things to reduce that, because you want to reduce that number as much as possible. First of all, try to get a low interest rate, as low as you possibly can. So 5% is not that great, nowadays. It used to be good, but the interest rates have gone pretty low. So if you can get something lower than 5%, that's great. And of course, the principal, how much you borrow, affects it. But sometimes you can't really do a whole lot about that. If a house costs $120,000, it costs $120,000. Obviously, you want to do what you can to get it at a lower price. Sometimes that's not negotiable. But this right here, 30 years, that's a huge difference, right? So the quicker you are at paying off this loan, the less interest you're going to have. So if you could pay this off in 20 years or 15 years, you'll be way better. What I do is I always try to pay a little extra each month on my mortgage. I have a 30-year mortgage, but I try to pay at least $100 extra each month. And so that extra $100 goes to knock down the principal, which then is going to reduce how much interest I have to pay, and I'm going to get it paid off quicker in 30 years. So those are things to consider. This is going into Bank of America, Wells Fargo, those CEOs' pockets. So you want to try to eliminate that as much as possible. All right, monthly payment. This is a really, really watered down version of how to find a monthly payment, but you take the principal and the interest and you divide it by the number of total payments. So if this guy borrowed $1,800 for 9 months, and the interest is $148.90, find the monthly payment. So we take the principal and add the interest, divide it by the number of payments, which is 9, because he's going to pay it back in 9 months. So we add the two numbers on top, and we get 1,948.90. Divide that by 9, so $216.54. So if this guy pays $216.54 each month, he will have the loan paid off in 9 months. So it's a really, really watered down version of monthly payment, but that's what you'll see in this section. All right, if you have any questions whatsoever, please let me know. Have a great day.